girls and boys. Welcome back to the Children's Chapel. Today is a very special day in the church calendar. It's Pentecost. It's actually the birthday of the church. So let's take a look at our church clock, which is the calendar of the church year. We are now leaving the time of the color white, and today is the time for the color red. Ouch, that's hot. Boy, it feels like fire. I wonder what that could be. But I'll carefully change the arrow there. Ooh, be careful not to touch it. It's like fire. I don't want to get burnt. And look here. We have the color red here too. I'll be very careful not to touch that color red block. Ooh. I wonder why it's so hot. Now it's time to come to the altar and hear the story of Pentecost, the birthday of the church. So come, follow me. This is the mystery of Pentecost. A long time ago, there were many, many people in the world, but they all spoke the same language. And they began to work together to build a tower, a very, very tall tower. They wanted to see how high the tower could go. They wanted to see if it could touch heaven. But as the tower grew taller and taller, the people began to argue amongst themselves. They became confused. And they began to forget why they even began to make the tower at all. They grew proud, and they began to think that they could build better than God. And so, the tower fell. And their language began to be garbled. They could no longer understand one another. And that is why they've called this the Tower of Babel. Now, 2,000 years later, God sent Jesus to the world. God sent Jesus to remind the people of how much God loved them. And so he taught, and he told them many things. And he did so many wonderful things and said so many amazing things that people began to follow him. People like Mary and Martha, like Peter and James and John and Philip and Nathaniel and Matthew. All of these people and more, so many more, became his friends. And they were there even when Jesus died. And on Easter Sunday, when God raised Jesus and made him alive, he began to reappear to all of these people. And he began to tell them different things. And one day he told them to wait for him in Jerusalem, in the upper room, because he would send them a special gift. It would be the gift of the Holy Spirit. And there they would receive power. And so, on that day, like a mighty rushing wind, that room was filled. It was filled with the power of God. And tongues of fire began to rest on each one's heads. And they began to speak of the mighty acts of God in different languages. And so they went out into the streets of Jerusalem. And there were people from all different nations, speaking all different languages. And they were there that day And they began to hear the message, the good news of Jesus in their own language, because the disciples were speaking it to them. And their ears understood. It was a miracle. And on that day, many, many thousands of people began to follow Jesus and take the message of God's love for them and the whole world to the four corners of the earth. And on that day, the church was born. And that is the story, and that is the mystery of Pentecost. But you see, boys and girls, the story never ends, because the power of God and the Holy Spirit is still with us and is still working to tell the love of God in every part of the earth, all the four corners, everywhere, and to all people and all places and in all times. Jesus is now with us, and so is the power of the Holy Spirit. This is a story that never ends. And so I wonder if you have a birthday, and I wonder if you celebrate that special day with your friends and other people. I wonder if you follow Jesus. And I wonder if you know the power of the Holy Spirit in your life.